Hey Algebra 1, this is the final video on a series in solving inequalities and solving equations for your benchmark test. This is on the small sheet that I gave you as a review. This is number 2. A lot going on here. Let's take a look. So the problem says Mr. Martinson is building a concrete patio in his backyard and deciding where to buy the materials and to rent the tools needed for the project. Table below shows the materials cost and the daily rental fees to 3 different stores. Okay, so there's once again a lot going on here. 3 different stores, 3 different rates of charge for each one of these things that he needs. Total cost Y for buying the materials and renting the tools in terms of the number of days X is given by Y equals M plus W plus K times X. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit. The question asks, for what number of days X will the total cost of buying the materials and renting the tools from store B be less than or equal to the cost of buying the materials and renting the tools from store C? All right, let's break this down for a little bit. First of all, we're only concerned about store B and store C. So I'm going to highlight those on the table here so we don't get confused and think that we have to deal with A. Okay, we're not even going to worry about A just yet here. Okay, the other part says it's asking when will the cost from store B be less than or equal to the cost from store C. Okay, that's kind of the whole inequality that our problem is hinging on. So B less than or equal to C. All right, and we're going to use the formula that they give us right here, but we're only really going to use the right side of it, that M plus W plus K times X. The reason being is that we're looking at cost here, so it's kind of redundant to just say Y equals all the time, okay? We're going to compare B to C here, store B to store B, or store B to store C, I should say, okay? Now look at the very top row of the table here, okay? I've got material cost M, I've got rental cost of a wheelbarrow W, and a rental cost of a concrete mixer K right here, which just so happens to line up with my 3 variables in my Y formula. So I'm going to create 2 formulas based on store B and store C. So store B, let's see here, material cost is $600 plus the 2 rental fees, which is $25 a day for the wheelbarrow and then $80 a day for the concrete mixer. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for C here. All right, so material cost for C is $700, a little bit more expensive for material, but take a look at their rental costs. It costs less to rent a wheelbarrow for $20, and it also costs less to rent the concrete mixer, okay? Which tells me, it tells Mr. Martinson, hey, if I know how many days this is going to take me, I can probably save a couple bucks and go with store B, but if I know it's going to take longer, I need to go with store C. All right, we're going to find out exactly how much money or how many days he needs before he's spending too much money. So remember, we're going to use this right here. B is less than or equal to C. So I'm going to say 600 plus that 25 plus 80 per day times X is less than or equal to 700 plus 20 plus 70 times X. Okay, let's go ahead and condense these parentheses down here. It'll make it a little bit easier to look at. So 600 plus 25 plus 80 is 105 times X, less than or equal to 700 plus 20 plus 70 is 90X. Okay, this looks a little bit easier to handle here. So once again, just like any other inequality, I want to go ahead and solve for X. I'm going to get all my X's to one side, all my numbers to another. So I'm going to start by subtracting 90X I should say, from both sides of the inequality. That gives me, let's see here, so 600 plus 105 minus 90, that's 15X, less than or equal to 700. Okay, so there's that material or that rental cost difference between the 2 stores, is that 15X. The material difference is going to be 600 when I subtract that from both sides. So 700 minus 600, that's going to give me $100 right there. So we're really seeing the difference between the rentals and the material cost here. So the last step should be dividing everything by 15. I ran out of space on my screen here. That's okay though. But if I divide both sides by 15 on this inequality, I get this. I get X is less than or equal to 6.666666, and so on. Okay. Now, if we know anything about rental policies, they usually don't give us an option to rent a fraction of a day. So what we need to do is we need to look at the first whole number that is less than this repeating decimal of 6.6 repeating, which would mean that Mr. Martinson has 6 days. If he's going to go with store B, maybe he knows somebody there, maybe he has a friend there that'll give him a good deal. But until that, and until he is able to finish his project in 6 days, after that, once he gets to the 7th day, he's going to start wasting money because that's when store C now becomes the cheaper option. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you message me, make sure you drop a like on this video, and make sure you share it with your classmates because you guys need it to prepare for your benchmarks. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.